What up, fam? It's your boy Manly Brandon back again, and today I figured I'd do some reaction stuff to some of my 600 pound life. This is actually from a channel called Plot Twist, and they do a lot of compilation videos, and I'm gonna react to some of their stuff. I've never done reactions before, so I don't really know how this is gonna go. But this is basically just me, cause like live your life and enjoy your life and do all that stuff. For me, being obese wasn't my best life, and I wasted so many years being obese, making excuses, and I don't think that it's good. So when people are like, "Oh, you can be healthy at any size and all that stuff," well, these people are like 600 pounds. Do you think they're healthy? Do you think they're happy? Is this what you're advocating here? So yeah, let's take a look at some of my 600 pound life and see how it goes.
From food obsessions that take over people's lives to finding creative ways to justify their unhealthy eating habits, here are some of the unhealthiest meals on my 600-pound life.
I hate my life.
That's like a real thing. Like when you're big, like you don't always hate your life, but it could be better. You know it could be better. Like I'm a pretty happy guy, always smiling and everything like that, and I stayed active and I still did stuff, but like I was always tired, and anything that I did, I was wore out, and I would always like, hey, you want to go hiking? And when I was hiking, I would like be breathing hard, but I didn't. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to show it, so I would like, yeah, all this stuff. Like, so it sucks the excuses you have to make to live what is considered a normal life, while behind the scenes you're like miserable. It's very terrible.
I hurt all the time.
Facts, facts.
I'm in so much pain. My chest is tight. I can't hardly breathe.
Yep.
Day-to-day activities are becoming more and more work.
Showering, man. That's a big one when you're big. Like at my biggest, I was 400 pounds, and you have all the skin and all that stuff, and like you don't want to stink. Like you're a big dude. There's already lots of stigma about you, and you don't want to be stinky on top of it. Like people are looking at you and they're like, "Oh, he's lazy" and all this stuff. That may be true, but stinky isn't one of them that you want. So showering is a big thing that you need to do and get under control as a big fella or lady.
It's so exhausting to do anything. I get very aggravated with myself because I think, how could you let it get this far?
Chay is a 23-year-old from Sharonton, Louisiana, who weighs 597 pounds and his life is anything but easy.
I'm 23 years old.
Now, at my biggest, I never got myself with the rag on a stick situation because I was big, but I'm tall. I'm like 6'2", which isn't like ungodly tall, but it is tall, and so I was able to still reach around. Plus, I'm built like a monkey, like an ape. I have like long arms, big wingspan, but like short legs for my body. My doctor's always like, "Wow, you have like short legs." So even after losing all the weight down to 185, I still can't run fast or jump very high, and I've strengthened myself up quite a bit. It's not there for me. Genetically, it's not there for me. Very top heavy.
And I can hardly take care of myself anymore. I live with my grandparents to take care of my grandmother. She depends on me.
Not only does Chay
Oh, that's rough. Your grandparents depended on you to take care of them, and oh man, I couldn't even imagine. Well, like I guess I can because I raised a child, and like I couldn't be weak. I couldn't be like, hey, I'm tired, too tired to do this, because you got to be on it. As a single father, you got to be on it. You can't just let that shit go.
have to take care of himself, but he also has to look after his parents. But his weight makes that almost impossible to do.
Grandparents, by the way, not
So you
parents.
feel like breakfast?
Yeah, I'm getting kind of hungry. Got it?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. He can still get up and down like that. That means there's still hope. I imagine when you lose your mobility, that's like game over. Can't be doing that. You can get up and you can go. You can fix this. I honestly believe that. I know, like one of my big things was as long as I have a job, I can always start over. Like so, if anything were to happen, I could always have my job. So I think that when you're big like that, if as long as you have your mobility, it's easier. But actually, it might be easier to jumpstart if you don't have your mobility because you can't get up and get the food. So maybe if you got people who ain't bringing it to you, you'll be all right. And also from the size of her, this is definitely just the way it was. Now I'll be the first to admit my son, he's a little bit supersized, but and it's because I was never taught the right way to eat, and I didn't know, and now I know, and we're working on it. So I'm getting him on the train too. He's lost some weight. It's just he's just not. He's just not his thing, and I don't want to force it on him because to me he's perfect the way he is. So I'll always love that guy, but I tell him, you know what, you're perfect the way you are. But if you ever want to be a little different, then you let me know, and I got you.
My grandson, he takes care of me, but it's just a hard struggle for him.
I'm hungry. I don't know why I woke up
That's a
so
lot of
hungry.
oil.
As far back.
Yeah. I know I'm stopping this a lot. I'll get more used to this, but I really don't know how the commentary stuff works because I don't want to get in trouble for utilizing this video. But it's like a copy of a copy. I don't know. It's just easier to go this way and break it down. But yeah, that oil that ain't what you need, man. You need to bake stuff. You need to cook it in like a little spray of cooking oil. Like it's 0 calories as long as like a little spray. If you're like dousing it on there, it's not 0 calories anymore. You got to keep that in mind when you're cooking stuff. Flavor your food with seasonings. Like that's where it's at. And if you really need something, throw some hot sauce on that shit. Hot sauce goes on everything. Firmly believe.
Back as I can remember, food has always been there
Looks
for
good
me.
though.
We
Oh,
eat a
looks
lot
good
of fried
though.
foods.
Food is my comfort
That doesn't look too ridiculous. I guess if that's what he's actually eating, a little plate like that.
if I'm
Ain't
hurting
too
or
bad.
if I'm stressed out.
The biscuits
I
is
just
what's
think
really
about
hurting him.
food.
The bacon's not so
However,
great.
despite all the
but-
hurdles in his life, the one thing that keeps Chay going is his obsession with food.
Oh God, the chair in the kitchen. I remember that. I would always have to break out the chair to chop vegetables or do dishes. Like I would get exhausted, and I was only 400 pounds. I can't imagine this, man. This guy's got to be a fucking beast. I bet his calves are just outrageous. He's got like middle-aged dad calves.
The one thing that Chay manages to find the energy for is to go into the kitchen and make himself his favorite meals. For his first meal of the day, Chay fries up a load of hash browns,
Also, bacon in a deep fryer. I've never done that. Like I've always like done it in a pan, which I guess is a similar situation. I never added grease. Bacon's greasy, so I just kind of like let it roll. Lately, I've been baking it. I worked at a restaurant for a bit, and they baked it all the time. It's a quick way to get it done, and I think it's a little healthier, but it's in a sense some grease. Bacon's not healthy for you. Bacon is so good, so I get it. It looks like some potatoes over there. Potatoes ain't bad. There's a starch, man. You need that shit. Just probably not deep fried.
sausages, and eggs. And his portion size is enough to fill up 2 people.
They're being a little harsh, man. That's not like super huge. Like, yeah, it's pretty big, but it's not. I've seen way worse
I have a lot of pain and anger
on my own plate.
towards my mom. Everything she did made me feel like no one could ever love me.
Pro tip: they make a like low carb syrup that is a little watery, but me and my son both love it. Like, give it a shot. Like, it's not that different from regular maple syrup. It's really good, and it's like 5 calories, so it's worth instead of like 110. So you can load that on. You could like literally soak your stuff in syrup, and it still wouldn't be as bad as just putting 2 tablespoons on. So maybe check that out.
She used drugs and alcohol to cope with her issues, and food was my comfort. It was the only thing that made me feel better. It was the only thing that made me feel like everything will be okay.
And that's just the first meal of his day. After that, Chay fixes himself another plate full of donuts and pancakes dripping with syrup. That only makes him all the more lethargic
Adding
for the
a
rest of
second
his
plate,
day.
probably not good.
My weight definitely makes me a target. People are
Oh,
very
sweatpants
cool.
too, man. Sweatpants phase. I had that. That's my entire.
I
high
definitely
school
hear
career.
the Snickers.
They used to call me nut hugger because
All
my
eyes
pants
are
were
always
so
on me
tight
and
around
not-
my genitals.
For the right reasons.
But I was hurt so much as a child that I've just built up such a tough, thick skin, and
Yeah, literally.
people's
thick
comments
skin,
don't
bro.
really affect me.
Like as this
Food
commentary stuff goes
addiction
on, I may get
is
a little
very
bit jokier,
difficult.
but this is my first role.
If you're addicted to
I
gambling,
don't wanna,
you
I
don't
don't
go
want
to
to disparage
casinos.
these people too much because
If you're
I was
addicted
one
to
of them, and I
cigarettes,
get it, but
you don't have to
there's
smoke.
So much humor. Like,
Your
tell me
food's
that guy
different.
doesn't look like a lesbian.
You're constantly
librarian in
faced
her
with your
mid-40s.
vice.
The glasses ain't helping.
Then
your
he
case. The
decides to
haircut
head
ain't
over to the
helping your case.
supermarket to stock up on his favorite snacks, including cakes, sodas, chips, and everything else he can find.
When you're in the grocery store, stick to the outside of the aisles. That's where the good
I know
food
I
is.
have to do
Inside,
something
that's
right
the
now,
trap. That's gonna get you.
or it's gonna
Hey,
get
jug of
really
water.
bad for
That's a
me.
good one. That's just water.
I know
Keep
I
it up.
can't keep
Drink
going
all the
like
water
this.
you want.
I think his life has come to a
See,
stop.
like his
Nothing
portions
is
don't
going
look too
on,
ridiculous.
and
But
I
I
think
get
he's
that they
shutting
are,
himself off.
obviously, because they're supporting that much weight.
I
Like,
shouldn't be.
okay, quick aside, and it's a huge misconception about this stuff. People think that people who are bigger have like a slower metabolism. It's like the opposite. Like, because like you're able to like, if you had a slow metabolism and you ate like 4,000 calories, you would gain twice as much. Like as you get bigger, your body still is kicking ass on the metabolism. It's just you're out eating it. When you're at your biggest, your metabolism is actually crazy powerful. It's just you just out eat it. So when you first start your weight loss journey, like just cutting a little bit, you're gonna lose more than you think because your body's like, oh, I can burn 3,000 calories a day just from existing. Whereas like someone who's like my size, like I need like 1,800 calories. But when I was at my biggest, I would not gain weight eating 3,500 calories. That's how I started, and I was just like, okay, that's my maintenance. But right now, if I ate 3,500 calories, I would gain weight in a heartbeat.
Be living like this.
If I gain any more weight, it's a death sentence. What is my family gonna do? They're not gonna be able to find a coffin big
They do
enough
these
to
guys
bury me.
dirty too, like
Now, it's time for Chay to fix
Showing
up
him
dinner.
eating all the
And by the
time
time
so
that's
bad,
done,
like,
he's
I get that
absolutely
that's a lot
tired
of
and
it,
ready to
but-
devour several pints of ice cream.
yeah, don't
I
eat
am
several pints of ice
absolutely
cream.
trapped.
Low fat ice cream is what you need. All right, so that was Chay's little story. I think I'm gonna call it there. This is my first video, and I'm just gonna use a section. So yeah, let me know how it goes, and then I will continue on with Pauline if you guys like this. If not, then I don't know. But I'm gonna try to do one of these a week, at least a little bit. And I know I keep interjecting and cutting off and stuff like that. But I have a little bit of insight into this. I wasn't 600 pounds, but 400 pounds isn't too far off. I was able to maintain a job and all that stuff, and I was able to turn it around. So I firmly believe that everyone can turn it around. But yeah, that's what I got for today, and I hope you guys have a lovely day, and maybe next time we'll see some Pauline. All right, peace.